welcome to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. This episode is a summary of the book Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Nicholas Taleb delves into the profound impact of randomness and probability on our understanding of success, decision-making, and life outcomes. Through a blend of finance, philosophy, and cognitive science, Taleb challenges our perceptions of skill and luck, urging readers to recognize the often overlooked influence of chance in shaping events. Part 1. Solon's Warning. Chapter 1. If you're so rich, why aren't you so smart? In this chapter, Nero Tulip's infatuation with trading stems from a dramatic experience at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, sparking a shift from academia to the dynamic world of finance. The key takeaway is that Nero thrives on the excitement and intellectual challenge of trading, prioritizing risk management and personal fulfillment over wealth accumulation. Chapter 2. A bizarre counting method. This chapter explores the concept of alternative histories, arguing that true success should be evaluated not by outcomes alone, but by considering the potential costs and consequences of different possible scenarios. The most significant takeaway is to understand that success often involves a high degree of randomness, and one should not attribute outcomes solely to skill or decision quality, but also to the inherent uncertainties and risks. Chapter 3. A Mathematical Meditation on History. This chapter discusses Monte Carlo simulation, using it as a metaphor to understand sequences of random historical events and stressing the difference between noise and meaningful information. The key takeaway is to recognize that high-frequency observation of events tends to amplify meaningless noise, while long-term views reveal significant patterns, highlighting the importance of perspective in evaluating outcomes. Chapter 4. Randomness, Nonsense, and the Scientific Intellectual. This chapter explores the tension between scientific rigor and literary rhetoric, emphasizing how Monte Carlo simulations can expose the randomness in literary constructs but not in scientific ones, thus illustrating the differing natures of these intellectual realms. The key takeaway is that while scientific knowledge demands rigorous proof and method, literary discourse often thrives on ambiguity and aesthetic pleasure, which can be both beautiful and deceptive. Chapter 5. Survival of the Least Fit. Can evolution be fooled by randomness? This chapter discusses how the success of traders like Carlos and John is often due to luck rather than skill, as they fail to account for the randomness and rare events in financial markets, highlighting a misunderstanding of Darwinism and evolution in non-biological contexts. The key takeaway is that short-term success can be misleading and is often a result of random favorable conditions rather than genuine skill, making individuals vulnerable to unexpected failures. Chapter 6. Skewness and Asymmetry. This chapter explores the concept of skewness, illustrating how asymmetric outcomes can lead to misleading interpretations of probability and expectation, especially in financial markets, using the story of Stephen Jay Gould's cancer diagnosis to emphasize the difference between median and average. The key takeaway is that understanding skewness is crucial for interpreting data accurately, and in markets, it is more important to consider the magnitude of outcomes rather than their frequency to avoid significant losses from rare, impactful events. Chapter 7. The Problem of Induction. This chapter delves into the problem of induction in the context of scientific knowledge and financial markets, highlighting the limitations of empirical observation and the necessity of rigorous methodology. The key takeaway is that inductive reasoning can be misleading without proper methodology. Focus on rejecting hypotheses rather than confirming them, and be cautious of relying solely on past data for future predictions. Part 2. Monkeys on Typewriters. Chapter 8. Too Many Millionaires Next Door. This chapter explores the concept of survivorship bias, illustrating how the visibility of successful individuals distorts our perception of reality and leads to unrealistic comparisons and expectations. The key takeaway is that comparing oneself to a skewed sample of successful individuals can cause unnecessary emotional distress. Recognizing survivorship bias can provide a more accurate perspective on personal achievements and reduce feelings of inadequacy. Chapter 9. It is easier to buy and sell than fry an egg. This chapter explores how randomness and survivorship bias distort our perceptions of success and skill, making it difficult to discern true competence from mere luck. The key takeaway is that randomness can create misleading patterns of success, leading to overvalued performance. It is crucial to account for survivorship bias and recognize the limitations of interpreting data without considering the role of chance. Chapter 10. Loser Takes All, on the non-linearities of life. This chapter examines how small, seemingly insignificant advantages or random events can lead to disproportionately large outcomes in life, illustrating the non-linear nature of success and failure. The key takeaway is that minor advantages or random events can create significant impacts due to non-linearity. Understanding and leveraging this can help navigate life's unpredictable outcomes and avoid the pitfalls of extreme success or failure. Chapter 11. Randomness and Our Mind. We are probability blind. This chapter delves into the limitations of human cognition, particularly our inability to think probabilistically and handle uncertainty accurately, highlighting how biases and heuristics often lead us astray. The key takeaway is that humans struggle with probabilistic thinking, making us prone to cognitive biases. Understanding these limitations can help mitigate errors in decision-making and improve critical thinking in everyday situations. Part 3. Wax in My Ears. Chapter 12. Gamblers, Ticks and Pigeons in a Box. This chapter explores the conflict between rational thought and superstitious behavior, illustrating how even a seasoned trader can fall prey to irrational associations and the emotional traps of randomness. The key takeaway is that humans naturally form irrational causal links and superstitions, even in professional settings. Recognizing these tendencies can help develop strategies to mitigate their impact on decision-making. Chapter 13. Carneades comes to Rome, on probability and skepticism. This chapter examines the evolution of scientific thinking and the human tendency to cling to outdated beliefs, highlighting the importance of skepticism and adaptability in the face of new evidence. The key takeaway is that science progresses by challenging established ideas and embracing uncertainty, while individuals must avoid becoming overly attached to their past beliefs to remain open to new knowledge. Chapter 14. Bacchus abandons Antony. This chapter explores the concept of Stoicism, highlighting the human struggle for control and dignity in the face of randomness and life's unpredictability. The key takeaway is to embrace personal elegance and maintain dignity amidst adversity, recognizing that while randomness dictates outcomes, our behavior and attitude remain under our control, embodying Stoicism's true essence. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. If you found this episode useful, let me know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com and join my free newsletter. As a subscriber, you'll get access to all my book summaries in written format for free. You'll also receive no more than one email a week containing a roundup of my latest posts, as well as exclusive content, which is only for my mailing list. It's completely free to join at samfury.com.